Good afternoon, everyone. Today is January 22nd, 2015. I think this is our 8th conference call for all the leads, and as always, we're talking about probate today. Bo, as we were getting ready to turn the recording on, Bo had a question. Go ahead and repeat your question, Bo. It's not a bad place.
Well, what are you finding is the average price range of your product compared to your marketplace? Is it in the middle? Is it below the middle, upper, or is it just a mixed bag?
Chad, do you have any insight on that?
Yeah, most of ours are sold under median price. So I'm trying to think how to phrase this. So most of the homes that we list are in the median price neighborhood, like the median price range. We typically price them 10 to 15% under the actual retail value, usually because they have a ton of deferred maintenance or they're just extremely dated. Like a lot of them we see are very well kept. They just haven't been updated in 50 years. So the net result is a much lower median sale price, but once the new buyer makes the improvements, that home would be, median or above. So that's, here in Roanoke, that's what I see. There is the occasion, it seems like the nicer neighborhoods in my market are where you're going to find the reverse mortgages and very motivated sellers, like condos, patio homes, which here is like a single-level townhome. Those are you can get above median price on a thing like those tend to be in the nicer neighborhoods for whatever reason. Those people are the people who, in my experience, are using reverse mortgages. And that's a very motivated lead.
If I could add to that, it's kind of interesting. Somebody asked me yesterday, they wanted a big county, and they wanted to know if they could exclude some zip codes. And I said, we really can't do that. But it's been my experience that, the war zones, the places you wouldn't want to list property, most of those people don't file probate because they usually don't own any real estate. So in my market, I've found it to be, because I've been doing this almost a year, it's interesting. I've found it to be right about average or actually a little bit above average. I have one that I bought and flipped that's I'm selling for $400,000. Now that's double my average. I was sharing with Chad, I got a call about 4 or 5 days ago on a letter that I sent out last January. It was the first batch of letters that I sent out. And the guy was in town, and he's ready to sell the house. I went out yesterday morning. It's a $2.5 million property. And honestly, I think the only reason I didn't get the listing, he wants to buy $1 million condo before he puts it on the market. So that will be a nice one, if that comes to fruition. Does anybody else have any take on that? Are the leads you're getting so far, are they average, below average, or above? No?
David Bryant, step up.
I think the leads are great. It's across the spectrum, high, low, medium, multiple properties, commercial buildings. It's just everything. Some of it's, we get the $80,000 to $100,000 houses, but then we also get the big boys too. Land and everything. And Chad, I think you picked up something in the letter we wrote. My probate attorney, was my tax attorney, said, David, he said, what you also need to focus on is businesses. He said, because, unless there's some succession that's written into the will of, officers or people in the company that are moving up to take a leadership position, if the owner dies, he said, you wouldn't believe how many businesses the owner dies, and within 90, 120 days, the business just goes under because there's nobody there to run it.
Well, that's a great extra question to ask, and if you're a realtor that doesn't specialize in that, I'm sure you can find somebody to refer it to.
Well, exactly. There are business brokers out there, but, just think of that's a whole nother set of opportunities. And, because I got that CCIM designation, I throw that in there. So we handle commercial property, businesses, residential property, blah, blah, blah. It really opens the gamut. And you know what I decided to do, which is probably the wrong thing to do, but, you know, we've got the Keller Williams Probate Division now.
Mm-hmm.
So that goes out on our letters.
Oh, nice. Okay. Like you're
you know, I don't know. I think it's a good thing. Maybe it isn't. But
why not? No, why not?
I think it's just more official looking, and they see, God, I mean, these people specialize in probate. I mean, it's probably somebody we need to talk to, you know?
So, David, you're in the thriving metropolis. I'm kidding. Columbia's a little bigger than I thought it was. I was kidding you before the call.
Don't you dog up my redneck town.
You got almost 1 million people in Columbia, so that's a pretty big city.
Right. Yeah.
So how long have you been getting the leads?
2 weeks, 3 weeks.
3 weeks. And you were saying on last call, how many appointments have you set?
We got about, I would say, 25 deals working. I got a gentleman that's working with me that just got into the real estate business, and, you know, he's aggressive, and he's just getting on the phone calling them, and he's probably calling, I don't know, 50 people a day maybe. The deals are out there, and then you put them into some kind of database management program, you know, that you got a drip campaign. I mean, these things, it's the gift that keeps on giving. I think 3 years from now we'll still be doing deals off the first batch is what I think.
Yeah, you're right.
So let's back up. In 3 weeks, you've got 25 deals working?
How many are on your list? How many were on your initial list?
Well, see, what I did, guys, is when I talked to Jim, I said, well, this probate thing probably takes some time. So I said, Jim, sell me 3 months worth of leads. Sell me this month, and they'll pass 2 months. So when I got the leads, I had 400 leads.
I got you. Good for you.
Very
Good
smart.
for you.
Yeah.
Go
ahead. Question? Follow up?
No, that's all right. So that means that in a normal month, if you got 400 for 3, then you got a little over 100 for each month, something like that. Okay.
Yeah, we've got about 100. You know, what I did, guys, is I picked the 2 central counties in Columbia, which is Lexington and Richland, just to see how the thing worked, which is, you know, I don't have any problem with it. I think it's going to be a slam dunk home run. But there are 4 other counties around the city that we can pick up that'll probably throw in another 100 a month. So we probably get 200 leads a month off probate. Is what's going to end up.
And David, you have not sent out your first letter yet, correct?
No, because damn it, I can't get you off your butt to get it out.
So that's Chad's department.
Chad, blame Chad now. I got you.
I'll blame Chad. No, actually, Chad's really taken. We have the mailing house. What we're doing, David, is automating the link, so you guys can just go on and do it yourself. Chad, maybe update. David, you sent us the letter, and actually, I know right before the call, we made a couple changes and sent it back to you. So, Chad, what should David do next to get that letter sent out?
We have the online form it's working internally. We've tested it, so I'll send you that link, David, and you can place your order through that. The one thing I will note, when I reviewed your letter, I'm not sure what the file type was. It was a .odt file, not a Word document. So make sure they're in Microsoft Word so the mail merge will work correctly when we upload it and sync it to your list.
Okay. Julie's in here with me. She's the lady that typed it up.
Okay. Hey, Jim, this is Sandra in Houston. Can I ask a real quick question?
Please. Sandra is one of our newest members. Welcome, Sandra.
Thank you. So we just got our leads yesterday, and it was about 5 o'clock when they came in. And we sat in amazement because we got 1,006 leads.
Wow.
We all kind of sat around and looked at each other and said, oh, crud, what do we do now? So we've got 2 questions. Number one, we're with Keller Williams, and I want to know about more. Is that KW Probate? Is that something from Keller Williams International? Is that something with y'all's local office? And number 2, what is the script that everybody is using? I mean, we obviously haven't done anything yet. You know, we don't want to call up and say, hey, sorry, we heard somebody died in your family, you know, blah, blah, blah. Because we're not going to be buying and flipping right now. We just want to go in there and get the listings and help. So that's all. Those are two questions I have right now.
All right, David, take the first one if you would. The KW is what? That's at KW International, you said, correct?
Well, I mean, it's just KW. All I did was just use the logo and the name and just put Probate Division.
Okay, so there's not a probate division from International then. That's because I did the same thing here too. Because I went and grabbed a bunch of domain names, with KW and probate and all that crud. So that was the thing, because I've seen a few other Keller Williams agents do, probate, for the Wilson team or somebody out in California too. But I just didn't know if it was an international thing or if it's just something you did yourself, because we're kind of doing the same thing.
Just something I made up.
Okay, I like the way you roll. Okay.
Congratulations.
I wish I could say something sophisticated, but it isn't.
Yeah.
Hell,
you gave yourself the accreditation. I like it.
Hey, I'm the expert.
That's perfect. And Chad,
so David, are you really a CCIM, or did you just write those letters in?
All right, now you're pissing me off.
We don't want to do that. You have too many good examples of the calls. Chad, would you you've done most of the role playing with the agents, and I know you do mostly incoming calls, but do you have a recommended outgoing script?
I do. It's on if you look on, I'd say the easiest place to find it would be on the Facebook Mastermind page. There's a document on there called Probate Campaign and Script. And there's an inbound script and an outbound script. And Sandra, if you want to call me and kind of walk through it with your ISA, I'd be happy to spend some time and kind of role play through a couple. But those scripts are there. Depending on what system you're using, you can actually upload them into your CRM and have them inside. 90% of the conversations will go the way those are scripted out.
Okay, and you said that was a Facebook Mastermind?
Yeah, it's called All the Leads Mastermind. It's a closed group, so just ask for access, and we can. I'll get you in there. And all the letters, the most current versions of letters that I'm using. Paul Hayhurst has a great letter that he's been kicking butt with. All those letters that are working for members across the country are there, as well as the campaign outline is just how I run the strategy in my market.
Okay, and I am my ISA, and my buyer's agent is my son, so we are the ISAs right now.
Well,
so,
cool.
yeah.
If you want, I mean, I'll do a kind of a startup call with you, and I can help you kind of implement the strategy and work it into the systems you already have, so you don't have fragmented stuff. So I'm using Top Producer, all mine set up in there with action plans and everything, but we can help get it into your system so it's not burdensome, because 1,000 leads is a lot. And the biggest thing for you is going to be getting it systematized. So because 3 months in, that number is going to be 3,000. So I think the biggest thing is making sure you've got your strategy and systems locked in so it doesn't overwhelm you. And I'll help you with that.
Okay, thank you.
Do you know how to get in touch with Chad? Chad, tell him the best way to get in touch with you. Email?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can email me. It's Chad at Roanoke Home Hub. So that's ROANOKE homehub.com.
Okay.
By the way, guys, I had to mute out two of you that there was just way too much background noise, 716 and 208. I'm sorry, I had to mute you out, but the call got a lot quieter.
I had one of our subscribers in Los Angeles is building this out, and he's focusing on branding, and I think that's the right thing to do. And David, you've got that. Sandra, it sounds like you're on the right track. I haven't really named so if you guys go to my domain that I use for the PS line and all the letters is www.sellandestatehome.com. So sellandestatehome.com. And that is just a simple one-page site that I put up for the folks that really aren't ready to have a conversation yet. They can at least go there and figure out, and see what we have to offer. you guys, feel free to borrow, grab ideas from that site. I think, those of you that are on track to brand this and internalize it in your business as a pillar, I think you're going to be really successful. And even if somebody does come into your market behind you and find this strategy out, you're going to have it branded and built. So I think that's a direction everybody should move toward.
What's the domain?
Well, yeah, I haven't gotten so far as the website. This is David Bryant, but what I did is David Bryant Associates Probate Division. Then I used the Keller Williams. So I'm trying to make it look official, which kind of goes against the grain, I think, with what Jen is doing and maybe Chad is doing with using the different colored envelopes to send the direct mail letter out and so forth. I was trying to make it a little more official looking, rather than something that you're just curious about and you open the letter.
Okay.
I don't know if that makes any sense or not. I don't know. Because we're all just kind of blazing the trail here. I don't think any of us really know.
No, well said. That's one of the reasons for this group. Someone started to ask Chad about his domain name again. Did you
Yeah.
not get? Yeah. Who? Chad, they wanted you to repeat your domain name.
It's Sell, SELLANESTATEHOME.com. SellAnEstateHome.com. And what we've called is our estate sale program. So even some of the folks that aren't quite familiar with probate, or that's just kind of how I've branded mine, and I haven't really put a name to it or a division in the business. It's under the the seller tab of our website. So anyways, you guys can get some inspiration there. I'm open to critique. I just kind of knocked that out quickly. It's working for us though. I mean, it gives someone a place to go without place, if they're not ready to talk and have a conversation.
Perfect. Anybody else have any success stories they want to share, or any questions for the group? We got a really good group of people this week. No? Okay. Chad, anything else you want to share? We got about 10 more minutes, but I don't want to keep you guys if there's nothing else to talk about this week. Anything else you want to share, Chad?
I have a success story, another one.
Okay.
I listed another one this week, and I don't know where it came from. I cannot find them anywhere on any of my lists. I'm not.
Okay.
I don't know how they got a letter. They're nowhere in my system, so I don't know if. I'm not sure if it was misdelivered or what, but I've got it was a come list me. He said he had gotten 8 letters, so I'm guessing he's on a bunch of absentee.
Interesting.
I have a question.
Okay. Oh,
This
Chad,
is Sandra
I'm sorry.
again.
Chad, I think I muted you out accidentally. Were you finished?
I am now.
Okay. Sorry about that. I was trying to find the background noise. Go ahead. Who had a question?
This is me, Sandra, again. Sorry.
No, don't be sorry, please.
So with this kind of being new, is anybody sending the letters themselves, or are y'all letting all the leads send it for you? I mean, what are y'all finding to work the most beneficial? I mean, because with us, 1,006 letters to get out, that's a little daunting, and obviously, we're not going to get them all out today. So I'm just trying to figure out what is going to be our best strategy, because it's like my husband said, dang, a lot of people died last month, and that is a lot of people, but we are in Houston too, and that's only one county. So I just kind of need to know what others are using or how you're doing it.
What we recommend, Sandra, is at least 3 direct mail touches. Now, we obviously have people who are doing extremely well that are only doing 1 touch, but the campaign outline that we'll share with you includes 3 direct mail touches. 1 as soon as you get the list, and then 30 days spacing at number 2, and then 30 days at number 3. So you're covering a quarter. What I found in my office, I started out doing them internally. My assistant would do them, hand address the envelopes and send them. And then that was okay the first month. The second month, it was twice as many letters. The third month, it was 3 times as many letters. The dates started to blend together. We didn't know what was sent, what didn't, when the calls were coming in. So that's when I went to the mail house because I needed help.
Okay.
And I have far fewer leads than you do. I average about 150 a month in my market. So my advice would be get your letter templates laid out. Pick the 3 letters or send the same letter 3 times, whatever strategy you want, and we can talk about that once you've read the letters. But get those laid out, upload them one time. So the day you get the list, upload the list, order the mail. It will mail merge with the letter templates you provide us, and specify the date or the spacing. So I want this campaign to start on February 1st, and I want 30-day or 14-day spacing. And then go in your database and set up your drop date. Say, letter 1 on the December list is dropping today, and then make that recurring. So, like, if you use Google Calendar, you can say repeat every 30 days and end on this date. So then it's in your Google Calendar. So when you go in that morning, it pops up and says, hey, Sandra, you've got mail dropping today for December 2014 or January 2015. So in about 3 days, your phone is going to blow up, and you can start to prepare for that and get your ISAs ready and say, listen, guys, we got 1,000 pieces of mail hitting in 3 days, so everyone needs to be here and be switched on, on Wednesday. So that way you don't have to think about it. You do it once, you pull the trigger, and it just happens.
Okay.
And, do that each month. The day you get your leads, set up the entire 90-day campaign. But you will find there will be people that will say, I told you to quit sending me these letters. And it's really simple. Just, Mr. Seller, I'm sorry, we order mail in a sequence, and we only order 3 touches. So if you could do me a favor, just throw away the next one. You're probably going to get one more. And I've never had a problem. People just say, oh, okay, well, all right. Because then that's the only challenge with ordering all your mail at once. You might rub somebody the wrong way, but you're not breaking any laws. There's no restrictions on direct mail. There's no such thing as a do not mail list. So it's for the ones that opt out, it's a little bit of an added cost, but it's for the sustainability of the campaign with that many leads. To be doing that in month 3 is when you kind of hit your marketing saturation point, where you're going to have 3,000 leads and tons of moving parts. So just that would be my advice is, pick out your templates and reuse those every 30 days and run your campaign for 90 days. And by the end of the 3rd month, it'll be kind of on autopilot, and you guys the phone should be singing.
Are you, with that many leads though, trying to call, I don't know how we're going to be able to get to every person to call. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. So this is, and for those of you that have been with us for a while, I know Bo has probably heard this 20 times, but there's part of the campaign is either a phone call or a ringless voicemail or a voice blast. Now, the difference between a voice blast and a ringless voicemail is, the voice blast, if someone picks up, it starts playing. Jim has had great success with those in Florida. They kind of bombed for me here, so I use a ringless voicemail. And I'll throw a couple of resources at you here. For the voice blast, you can go in the members page. You can actually click, I don't know what the name of the link is, but you'll find it. You can get to CallFire directly from the back end. And that is
Call Loop.
Call Loop, sorry.
Yeah, Call Loop.
But Call Loop is just a recorded message. It's 5 cents per record. So for $50, you could call, all those people.
And Sandra, if I could just interrupt real quick, I'm ashamed to admit it. I mean, that's all I do. I send out one letter and do one voice blast because I've got multiple businesses that I'm running. So I'm not optimizing the program, but I've got 3 probate closings this month, and I went on a $2.5 million one last month. With that kind of volume, you call a 1-800 number, and the message I leave is really simple. Hi, my name is Jim. I noticed you may have inherited some property in Florida. If you're interested in selling that property, give me a call. Here's my phone number. That's it. And they don't know who I am or why I'm calling. But as soon as
you don't really emphasize that you're not an investor, because I know my assistant, they got bombarded with investors.
By mail or by phone?
By phone.
I haven't had anybody. As soon as I hang up, my phone starts ringing, and my biggest challenge is I don't answer the phone. I just write down the names and numbers. My biggest challenge is clearing my voicemail because it only holds 35 at a time. So, and then when I'm all done, and everybody's called back, that I start calling. I listen to the calls, and I prioritize them, and I start calling them back. But no, I haven't had that experience about investors. But if you want to customize the message a little bit, I'm calling about that property in Florida. I'm not just calling to buy it, but I'm not sure you want to do that, because I think some people will call back if they think you're an investor. Some will call if you're a realtor. So why exclude anyone?
Okay.
So Jim, what is your message? What was that short message you just said you leave?
Hi, this is Jim. I noticed that you inherited some property in Florida. If you're interested in selling that property, give me a call, and my phone number.
That's it, huh?
That's it.
Okay.
And you know what's so funny? What's so funny? I have a dozen people that call me back and say, "You hung up. I was on the line. You hung up before I had a chance to say anything." It's so short, they don't realize it's a recording. I find about 75% of them go to voicemail anyway, and the other 25%, the call back didn't realize it was a voice message. And I use that because it's cheap. It's 5 cents. So Sandra, you could send 1,000 voicemails for $50. I mean,
right.
It's a really, really cheap way to reach people. It's not as, and you had asked about doing the mailings versus yourself. I think it's the same calling versus automating. Anybody who's got 30, 20, 30, 40 leads a month, you can do your own mail and you can make your own calls. But the people that are on the other end of that spectrum that are getting 1,000 a month, like Emrod in New York and Sandra in Houston, it's, unless you hire staff like David did, which is smart, David, you're either going to have to hire staff to make the calls and do the mailings, or you're going to have to automate it. So,
well, go ahead, Jim.
No. I was just going to say, taking some action is always better than not taking any at all. And with 1,000 leads, people will call you back.
Well, let me just say this. In other words, you can give the leads to the printer, and they'll put them in Excel spreadsheet, and they'll load them in their system, and they're going to send them for roughly $1 a piece, just like you are, Jim. I think you're at $1.05, 10 or 15 cents a pop. And my suggestion, y'all, is this to Jim: send out the first letter, 2 or 3, then go to postcard. So then you go from $1 a pop to 50 cents a pop, because when you get these leads on top of leads on top of leads on top of leads, here shortly you're going to be spending $5,000 a month on leads and mailings, at least.
Okay.
So that's my suggestion.
Yeah, postcards are definitely cheaper. My letters get opened. There's no wrong way to do this, guys. That's the beauty of this. You're contacting highly motivated people that want to sell, and you're probably the only realtor contacting them. So there's no wrong way to do it, and that's one of the purposes of these calls, to see what's working and what isn't. Chad, do you have a take on postcards versus letters, in your own opinion?
I'm not a huge fan of postcards with this directive marketing. I think postcards are great for broadcast marketing. We're narrowing this down to such a micro level that we know there's a motivation to sell. So I use just letters. If you are on a budget, postcards are better than nothing.
Right.
And I think phone calls are always better than any direct mail. That's if you look at the hierarchy of contact in the sales cycle. I mean, a phone call always trumps any other way. An email, phone call, an email, direct mail, anything. And something you said was a nugget. Doing something is always, taking action in some way is always better than nothing. And so I wanted to finish. So that's the recorded message is through call loop. And Sandra, the other option is to do a ringless voicemail. The difference there is the phone won't ring. It'll show your number in the voicemail box, and they think you sat down and placed all those calls. It's like an individual call. Those are about 8 cents each. The way I do my sequence, because I don't take the time to make the calls, and I've got a lot to learn from David Bryant. But what I do is I keep track of when my mail is sent, and I know usually I give it 3 business days from the date my mail is dropped from the mail house. And that's here in Roanoke. So for you, you might want to give it 5 business days just to be sure. And the messages that I use, I've left my failed messages in the campaign outline that you'll see. So the messages I've had that have had a 4 or 5% response rate, there's a big red, do not use this script. But the one that's worked best for me is, hey, this is Chad Corbett with Corbett Real Estate Advisors. I sent you a letter this week. Just wanted to follow up, make sure you got that, and see if there's any way we might be able to provide value to you guys, in selling, if you're interested in selling a home. I usually don't have marbles in my mouth like I did just there, but you're referencing the direct mail piece in the message. So if they didn't get the mail for whatever reason, they're going to be looking for it. If they did get it, they're probably going to be holding it or go back and reread it before they call you back. And what that does is, they'll read the copy, maybe slow down, and say, oh, this is the guy that sent us the letter. Now he's calling us. What's this about? So when you do talk to them, they're usually, they know what you're about. They know why you contacted them, and they know that you're reaching out to provide value. So I work my direct mail and phone campaigns kind of in tandem. That's just one way of doing it. I mean, David and his team, they just started calling. They haven't touched direct mail yet, and they've got 25 deals. So that's awesome. So I think, if your ISA is overwhelmed already, then, go with the recorded message. And if they have time to make the live calls, David has obviously proven that out. It's working phenomenally for them.
Well, and one last question. Does anybody do any, aside from the mail drops, but like actually going to the homes and leaving a packet? Because we're putting together a packet with, a whole ancillary of vendors that we work with, and just a little bit of information about us as well, too. I also was thinking about going to the attorneys that show up, because, we know several attorneys in Houston, but I didn't know if it would, be bad form to, march our little selves up to the attorney's offices here and introduce ourselves and let them know, hey, we do probate, we see you're helping blah, 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 so on and so forth. I didn't know if there's any, if that's bad form or what.
No, that's no way. That's what you should be doing. And I can't wait until you listen to the last Mastermind calls that we have on the Facebook page. A lot of our members have weighed in on just that and said, here's what's working in our market. But no, it's getting that. You're going to see, when you look at a list of 1,000 leads, you're probably going to see a half a dozen or so attorneys that keep reoccurring.
Yeah.
My advice would be introduce yourself, buy that attorney lunch, and really show him the value you bring to the table, because at the end of the day, you're going to make his life easier, and he's going to have quicker closings and quicker paydays. So definitely network with that person.
Okay.
And Sandra, as far as going by the house, a vast majority of the time, you're going to be going by an empty house, because the person.
Yeah, I thought about that too. Yeah.
Yeah. The person.
Well, we did have in San Francisco, in the Bay Area, we had a member who he only got 20 leads a month because so many people use estate planning there. There's just not a whole lot of probates in that income level. So he was getting 20 leads a month and kind of hitting a wall. And he switched his strategy and started showing up at the house. And, he would write a letter, knock on the door. If they weren't there, it would be hand-delivered, not mailed. And he had really good success with that. But that was 20 people a month, not 1,000 people a month. So I'm not sure how sustainable that would be for you. I think that you might narrow your list, send out a phone call. The 200 out of 1,000 that call you back, maybe then you approach those with some kind of a pre-listing package.
Okay.
By the way, for those of you that really are the high-end deals, the high numbers of deals, Chad and I have talked about it. It's almost like a whole separate coaching program, and he and I are working on putting something like that together for you, because it's funny. The guy with the 20 leads asked me if there's any way I could get more, and I said to him, no. Not legally. There's only so many people to die. But Sandra, if you got 1,000 this month, that's pretty much the number you're going to expect every month. So,
are you serious?
Oh yeah, no, that's. Did we send? We didn't send you any historical, did we? I think it was just this month, I believe.
Yeah, I think it was just this month.
Yeah.
And there, Justin just said there's a couple from November. And most of the ones that we've looked at so far have been very high end homes, like $1 million and over.
Wow, beautiful.
That's awesome.
Beautiful. So if you really
I
do a
can't wait
lousy
till
job
next
and
week.
if you do a lousy job and convert 1%, what's your return on investment? Good for you. That's phenomenal. Chad, you had a question?
We're keeping wine in our office now, so after the end of the day, we'll.
There you go. Guys,
Well,
go ahead, Chad. Comment?
Sandra, just to get you a little more excited, what we're finding, people who actually put a system in place and work it are listing on average about 2 homes per 100. So that means you've got 20 listings sitting in front of you at minimum.
And that's per month, because there is, that's one thing I've tried to drill into you guys. These leads have a shelf life, and if anybody hasn't heard me say this, most of these people do not intend to take any action until the probate is completed. Most of them think that they can't. So, boy, your first conversation with them should be, you may not realize that you can't transfer the title until the probate's completed, but we can certainly get it on the market now and take advantage of this downtime to market and sell the property. And by the time the probate's completed, we may have a buyer ready to close. So, your first contact, you're going to get that percentage. Your second, your third, these leads have a really good shelf life all the way out to a year. So that's the good news. Guys, I try to keep these calls at 30 minutes. I think we could probably go for an hour. Does anybody else have any pressing question that they just need to ask, or should we adjourn until same time next week?
Next week.
Next week. All right. Get out there and make it happen, guys. It's a pleasure. Thank you, everybody, for calling in today. Take care.
Thank you.